Next company coming up is SenzaGen and the CEO Anki Malmborg. Very dear friend to me. We've been with the company since they were a private one. Again, and another company coming from Karlborg Bex, let's say, stable. Thank you very much. And as you all know, we are very keen on understanding and getting some more insight how Anki is, let's say, taking the company from being an engineering one, development stage, into shifting it into a money-making machine. So please take it away.
Thank you, man. Thank you for letting me talk to you here. I've been talking of those events for quite some times now. A lot on our technology and how fantastic it is and how it works. And we're really in a transition state now, like Herman said, moving strongly into the commercial phase. And I will talk about that mainly here today. But first of all, I would like to introduce to you Anna Cherouvrier-Hansson, sitting here. Anna is the Chief Commercial Officer of SenzaGen, leading the work on that. Anna has experience from pharmaceutical, cosmetic, medtech industry on the business development side. Also, Anna is fluent in Swedish, English, German, and French. And she negotiates on all these 4 languages.
Oh, wow.
So, give her a hand. So she's here for if there are something you need to talk to her about also. So ramping up the commercial sales organization, we communicated yesterday.
Yeah. Time flies by.
For the first time, our sales targets. And I will go through that now and more also in detail. How are we going to accomplish this? How are we organized? How are we doing this? How are we working in our business model? But first of all, I guess some of you have not listened to me before, so I will introduce what we're doing, what we are going to sell. Okay. So SenzaGen is a company that's built around a technology platform that we call GARD. And GARD will be the new global standard for animal-free testing. So what does this mean? Well, you know, we are surrounded with a lot of chemicals. Chemicals are really good for you. There are chemicals in drugs, pharmaceuticals. There are chemicals in cosmetics. We use them every day. But they can also be dangerous for you. So for your safety, all these chemical-producing companies, they are testing the chemicals before they sell it to you. They have to test them, and they want to test them to make sure that they are safe, so that you are not hurt, so that you don't create allergy. And they've been doing this using animals for a long, long time. So the tradition in this field is using animals for testing chemicals that will be used by humans. Okay. You hear what I'm saying? There's more and more coming a ban to using animals for this purpose, especially in the cosmetic industry, because it doesn't make sense to test lipstick on a mouse that's going to be used by a human being. So there are bans coming up, and there's more and more corporate social responsibility coming up, that so people are moving away from using animals. And that's where we are with our GARD technology. On this market that didn't exist 10 years ago. Everything was tested on animals, and now it's emerging. It's growing quite rapidly, and there's enormous potential in this in vitro toxicology test market, as we call it. So there's really a game changer in this field of testing, because more and more you're not allowed to use animals. There are regulatory directives in many countries. Europe was first in cosmetics. That is now spreading around the world, you see here. There are directives within ECHA, which is the European agency for chemical regulation, like Kemikalieinspektionen, Europeiska Kemikalieinspektionen. corporate social responsibility is becoming really, really strong. We want to be good people, we want to be good companies, not using animals. But the most important thing is that we have discovered now with the GARD technology that we are not only replacing animal testing, we are placing a more accurate and much better technology on the market. This is the mouse that we are replacing for skin allergy. It has an accuracy of 70 to 75%, which means that some products that come out there, they are actually okay by this test, but they still cause allergy for you. What we are doing, we are putting the human being in the test tube, literally, and we have a much higher accuracy, which is natural, of course, because we are the end users. We are not mice. And this is possible now with more and more advanced technology in cell culturing. We know the entire human genome, so we can utilize that. We have advanced computers and machine learning algorithms. So bundling all this together and moving into the safety testing market, that's what we're doing. So GARD is a technology platform. That's what we use for our tests. We have 2 products or services launched on the market already. It's GARD Skin and GARD Potency. It's for skin allergy. Potency also measures the strength of the allergy, which is needed in many cases. And we're launching this week, or next week, Monday, GARD Air, which is a respiratory allergy test. The beauty in this is that the wet lab part of it, the cells and the technology and the challenging with chemicals, all that is the same. The only thing that differs is the last analysis step, where we look at genetic signatures. So when we work with our collaborators that are selling the test for us, they make an investment by setting up these tests. And if they set up GARD Skin, they can easily run GARD Potency by just changing this step, etc., etc. So we have said we will launch, based on this platform, 1 new test every year, based on exactly the same technology for more and more endpoints. So based on all this, we produced yesterday, or communicated yesterday to the market, our sales targets. So in 2021, it's 80 million, and 2 years later, it's 300 million Swedish crowns. So how will we do this? Well, as I said, we will launch 1 new assay every year. By this, we are addressing more and more toxicological endpoints, by that serving a wider range of industries. So how can we do this? A small company in Lund. Well, we work with contract research labs. I will go a little bit more into detail on this, how this works. We work with partners that have set up everything already, with customers providing all these industries. And what we are growing here in Lund is a supporting organization for those external labs. So I said we are launching 1 new test every year. So far we have the skin allergy test, and we are launching the respiratory test, and we have in the pipe also test for the gastro, food allergies, which is an enormous market. And it's only the fantasy that stops this from evolving more and more. So in 2023, when in 5 years from now, we will have at least 7 tests on the market. And that is also reflected in our revenue. If you look at our revenue split today, it's mainly skin, and we have a little bit from the respiratory. We've actually sold a little bit already, even though we launched it on Monday, which is quite nice, actually. This is the revenue split in 5 years. So this area here is reduced to this, and then we have pipeline tests. So it's really the number of assays or tests that we're selling is really reflected in the revenue that we have. And we're serving a wide range of industries through these tests. Cosmetics, like I mentioned, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, medical device, smoking cessation, food, etc. So how can we serve all those markets from a small organization in Lund? It's a fair question, isn't it? Well, we work with contract labs. A contract lab is, for example, Charles River, Eurofins, Covens, to mention some of the really big ones. This is how it looks today. We have 2 licensed labs, Eurofins in Germany and Burleson's in the United States. They have set up our test in their labs. They sell it to their customers from all those industries that I mentioned, and we get a license fee from them. And our goal is to have 25 of these in 2023. You also see some yellow dots there, and these are what we call distributors. Some of these labs, we've learned, they want to have a distribution agreement with us first to see how the market works, etc., and then turn it into a license agreement. And also in certain areas, maybe for some specific places, we can sell through just the distribution, more like a finder's fee setup. So this is how we will manage all this. And this is the business model more in detail. We sell today through these 3 ways, directly from us, from the lab here in Lund. So what happened, the customer, say for example AstraZeneca, they send their chemicals to us, we test it, and we send the report to them, and they pay us a fee. We sell through the licensed lab, Eurofins and Burleson. That means that they are selling to their customers, the customers send their chemicals to them, they perform everything, take all the cost, and send a license fee to us. And the distributors, like I said, is more on a finder's fee level. So we are aiming for this distribution of income between these 3 channels. So we want to have most of the routine tests, or we are planning for that, from the licensed lab. So we will take some tricky customers ourselves and a little bit from the distributors. So we will get license fee from these labs, service fee from this, and service fee, of course, from the end customer. And they're all from all of these 3 industries. I said we've sold a little bit already. We have some revenue already, meaning that we have an organization that can send invoices, that can get purchase order formats and all that is needed to build up a commercial organization. This is the number of customers that we've had over the years, and you can clearly see that they are really increasing from year, and they're also ordering more and more tests per client. These are some of the names. Yeah, I think you recognize all of them. It's quite big players, and they're coming back. Lubrizol, for example, they're coming back to us with more samples now. They also wanted to publish this scientific poster with us. It's a way for them also to market themselves, to say that we're using this technology that is animal-free, so it's a win-win situation. Also, Imperial Tobacco wanted to present some data together with us. So, to summarize, how are we going to do this? Well, a target of 300 million in 2023, meaning that 2021 we will have at least 5 tests on the market and at least 7 tests on the market 2 years later. I said 1 per year. So the endpoints that we are addressing is now skin sensitization and respiratory sensitization. That will evolve, of course. Like I said, we're working with food allergies and also irritation, for example. These are the industries that are our end customers. And like I said in the beginning, the size of the potential market is enormous. The number of CROs that we are planning to sign, and when I say CRO, I mean licensed lab. 20 in 2021 and 25 in 2023. That will get 80% of the revenue from us. So 80% of the revenue is our goal from the licensed lab, and we will reach that in 2023. A bit on the way, 65% 2 years earlier than that. And this will give us a turnover of 80 million Swedish crowns in 2021 and 300 and 300 2 years later. Some people ask, so what is your market penetration? And that's actually quite a tricky question, because we have different tests on different markets. So for example, in this case here, GARD skin, the skin sensitization test on the skin market, here it's about 3%, increasing to 9% there. So that will give you a gist of how we are thinking about, because you can't say penetration of the total market, because that's totally fair, because you're only targeting parts of it. So these are some numbers. So to do this, we need, of course, a commercial organization that Anna is heading up, and we will need 20 full-time employees by 2021 and 25 by 2023. And there are mainly 3 functions that they are working with. So it's key account manager that have a geographic responsibility. So we will have key account managers for America, for Europe, and for Asia. And we have already one in each place. And we're also there looking for Americans in America. We have a Chinese woman in Asia. And like I said, Anna is covering very well 4 of the European languages anyway. We need product managers that support with their expertise on the specific products, and of course marketing and communication to serve those labs. I can tell you as an example, we have with Eurofins and Burleson, we have a bi-weekly telecon with them where they get support from us and they can ask questions. So they feel that we are really supporting them. We're giving our marketing material to them, helping them with that. It's our brand that's going to go out there through them. We've also geared up the board 6 weeks ago with Peter Nastedt. He's sitting over there. And Peter has a great experience from doing what we are doing now in Probi. He took the revenue in Probi from 100 million Swedish crowns to 600 million Swedish crowns in 4 years through global distribution networks. So, welcome. So, summary is you're walking up here. That gives me the sign that I shall sort of conclude this.
Not at all.
Achieved goals so far. We have initiated sales for GARD Skin and GARD Potency. We're launching GARD Air. It's ready. It's up and running. It's working. And we've signed a number of global distribution and licensing agreements already on the way to our goals, as I told you. So upcoming milestones. 1 new test every year. Look out for that. 25 license agreements 2023. We will launch GARD Air next week. We're working on the quality, of course. So we're aiming for a GLP certification of the lab next year. And our first OECD test guideline for GARD Skin in 2020. That's it.
Great.